Hello and welcome back, it's Jimbo here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Shanghai Dragons team as part of my rundown to the Overwatch League 2022 season. We're going to go through all the different teams, see which players have added, which players have lost, and discuss how I think they're going to be going forward into Overwatch 2 5v5. And then at the end we'll do a power rankings just before Overwatch League starts to decide who I think is going to be the best team going forward, and then wait for it to all be immediately demolished when Overwatch League starts and most random teams are suddenly amazing and everyone else sucks. So we'll see. But today we're going to be starting with the Shanghai Dragons, probably the least exciting of the changes that has happened. I mean, they won season of 2021 and so they don't necessarily need to make any changes. So they're probably the best team to discuss first because there's not that much that's changed between them. And so obviously they looked really good at the end of 2021 with their ball comps kind of demolishing everyone. And in fact, they were too good that it ended up being a bit boring because it was kind of one of those things that it was like, oh, the Shanghai Dragons are so good, no one's going to beat them. So all that kind of run in the finals and things like that was just like, oh, they are too good. Will anyone overcome them? And they didn't. And the Shanghai Dragons won that season looking really good. And that's partly because they have one of the best team compositions and some of the best players in the entire league in their team, which is, impressive really. So we're going to look at those. And so on supports, we've got Izayaki, Lee Jae-gon and Bebe. And we had Lee Jae-gon and Izayaki last year, both excellent support players. Izayaki providing the flex support, looking amazing on the Zen and the Ana, and pretty safe to say he's going to continue to be that strong on the flex support going forward into Overwatch 2. He's incredibly mechanically skilled, and that's likely to stay the way, especially because Overwatch 2 is going to focus a lot more on mechanical skill, judging by what we've looked at so far. And so that's going to stay the same. So I have faith in Izayaki to still be an excellent flex support. Lee Jae-gon as well, also a highly mechanically skilled Lucio. Pulled out good performances on the, Lucio, Brig, Mercy, everything he required. And I think that's going to stay the same. He's well known as an incredibly talented main support, and I think it will stay that way. And judging by everyone's power rankings so far of what's being played in pro scrims and what was good in Overwatch 2, being able to peel for your flex support is looking very important. And Lucio is one of the best peeling supports out there, and so that's looking to continue. And so I feel like it's important to have an incredibly skilled main support on the roster with high mechanical skill to be able to kind of dual DPS that are diving your flex support. And Lee Jae-gon is going to be one of the best at doing that and making plays with his boobs. And so I'm incredibly excited to see Lee Jae-gon perform and help keep Izayaki alive. An important pickup as well is Bebe. I think there was uncertainty going into Overwatch 2 before the pro players started playing it, is that, was main support going to be any good? And so a lot of teams have ended up with double flex supports, some teams solely with double flex supports. And so, Bebe is one of those solid, reliable players, always performed pretty well on the Hanzo Spark and the Washington Injustice. But I think he's also going to be pretty happy to be on one of the best teams in the league and happy to sit on that bench and maybe ride it out. But he'll still be able to perform when he's subbed in a double flex support meta. And so I have confidence in him, being good, being able to perform solidly. Nothing probably amazing, but he'll be able to perform. But judging by how the meta is looking so far, Lee Jae-gon's going to be on that Lucio, and, that's something I'm pleased to see. Moving on to the DPS players, they've got Fletter, Lip, and Huaru. And, nothing much to really say here, to be honest. Fletter and Lip, probably one of the best DPS duos in the entire league. And that's what I'm incredibly excited to see. More of, essentially, especially moving into your 5v5 where you're going to be able to see a lot of flanking, a lot of individual outplays on DPS, and I think Fletcher and Lip are going to be able to provide that. I think Lip especially, always performs in that kind of level. Fletcher is very flexible, which I think is going to benefit going forward, but it sounds like the Echo is not looking very good so far in terms of how good it is in Overwatch 2. And he was excellent on the Echo, but he can play a wide range of heroes very well. And it also sounds like Tracer has been nerfed quite a lot. Tracer and Reaper has been nerfed quite a lot. So we're interested to see what they're playing, partly because it's been quite mixed up so far. So I do have kind of complete faith in them, to be fair, because they are excellent DPSs that are very flexible. And the other interesting existence is that of Who Are You, who I feel like is just going to continue to stay on the bench like he normally has. It sounds like there's been quite a bit of Genji being played, which is interesting because Hurayu, is going to be around to play that Genji. And I think he's an interesting character to have on the bench as that kind of that third DPS, that when you have Fletcher and Lip on your team, you're not really going to play that third DPS very often, but it's nice to have that third DPS who's kind of there to play all the random heroes if need be, if for whatever reason Lip can't play them. And so there's not that much to really say about the DPS line on the Shanghai Dragons. One of the best in the league. Incredibly excited to see how well they perform in the Overwatch 2 5v5. And I think they have such a high mechanical skill, they're going to be able to be carrying this team. And finally, just onto the tanks. Again, there's not that much to say here, really. Fate and Void, both incredible tanks. I think we're probably going to see a lot of Void because he's an incredibly highly mechanically skilled tank. And it looks like a lot of the off tanks have been incredibly strong so far. And so I imagine we're going to see a lot of Void. He's going to be on that D.Va. He's going to be on that probably Doomfist. If he can, get the hang of it quickly enough. Potentially things like Orisa maybe. Roadhog, Zarya, Sigma. Sigma's looking like he's going to be good. And Void Sigma was excellent. So it's whether or not he can get the grips of that Doomfist rework. But then, potentially if we're in a hard Doomfist meta, HuRyu has an excellent Doomfist that could always come in and play that if the old tanks are struggling. So that's another benefit of having HuRyu on the team. But I do trust in Void to pick up heroes very quickly, learn them, learn the new changes. He has to play probably a bit more like a main tank rather than an off tank, seeing as there's one tank. So that may be a bit of a different change of pace. But I do think someone like Fate, who is a kind of big brain tank player, will be able to help Void with that. And, you still have the benefit of Void on the team, Fate on the team, who can provide guidance to Void, help coach Void. He's an incredibly experienced tank player. His mechanical skill is probably not the greatest compared to someone like Void, who is a kind of mechanical god. But I think he'll still be there to play the Winston or the Ryan if, you're in a strong meta for those. Maybe even the Orisa. He was always good at Orisa. But I also think he'll be able to happy to take a step back and help coach Void and work with Void to maintain the integrity of the tanking in Overwatch 2. I think that's what's really important for the Shanghai Dragons. They're probably one of the most well-rounded teams going forward into Overwatch 2. And that's what makes me incredibly excited to watch them perform. I think in the 5v5, where everything's very flanky, mechanical skill is going to be key, and everyone's kind of learning new things and trying stuff new, they're going to be able to perform to an incredibly high standard. And I think they're still going to be one of the best in the whole world. And it's something I'm just excited to see. There's not much else to really say about them. They haven't made any too big changes during the off-season. They've, kind of fleshed out their support line a little bit, but apart from that, they're going to be incredibly good. And I'll be incredibly surprised if they're not. So please like and subscribe. Stay tuned for some more Overwatch League team breakdowns as we get ready for the new season. Thank you.